Forces of evil are marching towards victory. However, the armies of good are not going to sit idly by and allow them to complete their objectives. They have set up a mighty ambush ready to put these Isengard troops in their place. Hey, how's it going? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to another Rise of Mordor online battle. You guys have been asking for more engagements, so I thought I would go ahead and appease you with this epic one. I love the map that we're using. We're using the Ford Eisen map, which you can find on the workshop, obviously along with Rise of Mordor and the sub mod. So in this battle, we do obviously have an army from Isengard who are advancing in a marching column, looking to spread darkness throughout Middle-earth. Supporting them and kind of their vanguard force, we do have an army from the Dunland tribe, so they're going to kind of be the frontal force taking the majority, of the pressure as we just move forward through their ranks. You can see a lot of good quality infantry, along with a lot of crappy units as well. And also one of the awesome things about Dunland is the majority of their armor is from Isengard. They've been outfitted by Sauron, so that's going to be kind of what you see the most. As well as that, attacking them, we do have an army from Dunland, and we have a Dorwin, I think is how you pronounce them. They're basically like a Dale faction, but a little bit more east from Dale, I believe. So they have a little bit more elven influence in their roster, which is just kind of cool to see, see some really elite infantry. So we've got Dorwin over on this right-hand side, and then obviously the forces of Doamroth over on the left-hand side. So you guys have seen Doamroth plenty of times, but a lot of their armored bow militia, you've got some good javelins and spears here, and I really love the look of Doamroth in the mod itself, in the sub mod. They look amazing. I love some of their kind of lower tier infantry, because obviously these guys look just epic with their face masks and everything else, but I really like the look of kind of maybe more of their mid tier infantry, kind of like this cavalry. I think looks really good, just kind of a plain old nice shield, but I think they look awesome nonetheless. So this battle is going to get kicked off very quickly. You can see that the forces of Doamroth have kind of set up a really nice kind of blockade right here, where we're going to look to try and stranglehold the forces of evil as they try and march through. And obviously the forces of evil are going to try their hardest to break away and cross the River Isen as best as they can, whilst holding off the waves after waves of assault that will be coming in from the attackers. They also have a pretty nice rear guard as well, which can kind of outmaneuver their opponents. You've got a lot of crossbows back here from Isengard. You've got some good cavalry back here, along with some heavy white hand stormers as well, which you can bring these guys late to a battle and they will just absolutely fuck everywhere. They're a very mighty unit. I'm going to look at this unit right here. God, his teeth, pretty brutal right there. So let's just dive into this battle, get this one started. I think there you go. The first couple volleys are being shot right on time. Dunland have spotted this ambush, and all of a sudden, infantry are quickly reforming as the shipmen close the distance through the woods. I'm assuming that they themselves will also be pushing up as well. So for some reason, the sound kicked off right there, but hopefully it is all back, and yeah, we're good to go. So right now, the artillery is coming in, especially with all the missile fire as well, demolishing the cavalry. And I think that's going to be a very good strategy for the attackers right now, is to just try and take out as much of the infantry as possible. I apologize about this. For some reason, the sound's being really weird. Let's just mute it for a second, and then we'll turn it back on. But yeah, as you can see, the cavalry getting absolutely demolished there by the artillery and the archer fire as more and more artillery come in. Now let's turn the music back on. Sorry about this, guys. Normally, yeah, I've had no issues with this, but for some reason it's maybe just being a little bit ratty, but hopefully not too. So there we go, we've got infantry lines clashing out. I expect Isengard to quite handedly beat off the forces of Doamroth back here. Yeah, I really like these kite shields, they look awesome. I'm a big fan of them. But yeah, I'm assuming with the support of the berserkers and other infantry, Doamroth won't really make much of an issue back here, but it's more about just keeping this kind of component of the Isengard army, which as you can see looks amazing. Look at that. It's like formed up its own defensive line, almost abandoning Dunland. I mean, Dunland have done a pretty good job as well, as you've got more and more infantry moving in. You can just zoom in right there and watch more lines clashing in here. You can see their entire battle line is being hammered now as more infantry move in. from Darmroth and obviously from Dorowin as well, moving in their shipmen, which again are part of a Dale roster, but they have a pretty wealthy roster. They basically have a full roster right there. Oh, look at these shipmen as well. I love like the harpoons they use instead of like proper javelins. That's really, really cool. As more arrow fire comes flying in, obviously some good crossfire as the men of Darmroth are, keeping them in place whilst the arrows just smash them. I imagine taking out a large portion of the enemy missiles would be a great idea and a main focal point. And they obviously have the advantage when it comes to it as well, because they're obviously, in the forest preparing themselves. So they have that little bit extra cover. And I imagine a lot of the defenders right now will be getting just absolutely demolished by missile fire. You can see another, secondary line coming up. And yeah, for now, they are definitely up against it. It'll be interesting to see if Isengard are trying to reinforce, and it seems like they're going to try and connect their battle line right now, sending in more and more men. There's a really nice crossfire here by the Dunland Javelins. The youths are managing to rout out some of the mounted lancers, and now Isengard are starting to filter out more and more men to aid their Dunland allies, who have just been absolutely caved in. I guess this is what Saruman wanted for them anyway. As you've got artillery flying in as well, looking to strike deep in their battle line. More infantry now moving in. They've breached the circle, the defensive areas, and now we're going to have some of these Heaven's Guard charging in the huge two-handed sword infantry for Darmroth. Some of their most aggressive infantry. And that's going to be doing some serious damage. However, we do have a little bit of cavalry moving around here, trying to maybe hit some of these forces who have broken out of the formation. Got some berserkers here. So if this cavalry can get a good strike on them, that would be huge, because killing a unit of berserkers is always pretty useful because they can do some serious damage. And as I said, it seems like they've managed to clear out their opponents in the kind of back of the rear guard of the column itself. There's going to be the centre that's really struggling. I mean, look at all these archers that are just lined up and ready to shoot. These are the Afala Rangers right now, so looking like they're going to be doing some serious damage. And they're just in such a good position to volley into this death box. I mean, look how many arrows! And you can see the destruction. That unit was on like half health, and now it's just non-existent. So they can do great. More shipmen moving into the column. Yeah, and once now it's been breached, they are in a hard place. Trying their best to defend this, but yeah, I think Dunland are done for, literally, pun not intended. And it's going to be up to Isengard to now reform, and I think that was kind of probably the plan all along from Isengard, using these guys as a meat shield, taking a few men. I'm excited to see what these guys can do though, and this battlefield is just an absolute mess. This is chaotic. So if you guys are enjoying this battle, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below. You want to see more scenario battles like this? If you want to play in more battles like this, join my Discord down below. Harry Hobbit, the guy who aptly is aptly named and who organised this battle, he's always looking to play battles. It's just not that many people say they want to play with him. Not many people, they say, oh, I'll be there, and then they don't turn up. So we are looking for more people to play in these battles. So if you want to, just go ahead and join the Discord. They can hook you up with where to download the mods and everything, and you can be a part of these battles in the future. And obviously, if there's a lot of people who want to play these battles, he will host more of them. That's the thing. So yeah, if you want to see yourself featured on the channel, you want to see more Rise of Mordor battles, this is your best place to turn up. Just join the Discord and just make yourself known when a battle does get announced, because the more people who want to play, the more battles there will be. So right now you can see the entire Dunland front line has crumbled. You've got one unit of elite spear elders who are just completely surrounded. Definitely their days are numbered. They're getting like Battle of the Bastarded right now, surrounded and closed in. No room to swing them spears whatsoever. But they are an elite infantry unit, so they will hold for as best as they can. They are shaking. Maybe some fire arrows would be really useful. But this missile superiority has been huge. However, we do see Isengard sending out a small force here to try and harass the flanks, which I definitely like to see. You've got some berserkers out here fighting away some of the, oh my god, the Durowino protectors. Look at these falcon swords, absolutely huge. They're definitely a contester for the Berserker massive weapon. Look at them, just two big boys with big sticks. Ready to commit. So it'll be interesting to see who wins this engagement. I imagine Berserkers will probably come out on top. Sorry about that, I hit my mic. But who knows? I love the different coloured capes as well. Makes this unit feel gorgeous. The sub-mod is a great addition to playing Rise of Mordor for sure. And now Isengard have basically formed a battle line now. This is pretty interesting. I guess now because they're not being enveloped, they can commit their soldiers forward, which does make a lot of sense. Because they don't have to really worry about stuff coming in from every single side like the initial part of the battle where the ambush was sprung. Now they can actually start, forming a proper battle line, and I think that's only going to benefit them. They really need to make sure they get all of their missiles, though, onto the back of these guys. And they've also managed to sneak through some cavalry. Dunland proving that they are not over yet, throwing in a cavalry into the back, and that's huge. Killing this is the way that the forces of good win. There's just so many archers here. So if Dunland can get some more charges off of these guys and bring them down, that's just absolutely huge. Because, yeah, right now these guys are going to be racking up so much damage. We do get a cavalry charge coming in here, though, from Dorowin with some of their awesome-looking, ranger units. Moving into the back of here. We have some pikes set up here as well to help support. And more infantry being committed, more archers reforming up. Yeah, and Isengard are starting to move on. I'm actually going to go ahead and sound the retreat right now. The forces of Darmroth are going to be pulling back. I guess to maybe try and support their archers a little bit. And form up. And oh, that's probably... Yeah, it's probably... Was that the Isengard general? It might actually be the Isengard general being... Oh, no, sorry. It would be, the Dunland general right there. For a second, I was like, that general unit has 2 less men. Was he really that unlucky? And I don't think he was. Okay, so the cavalry's going to come in and finish off the champion Reavers from Dunland, and that's going to allow these guys to fall back. And yeah, I think for the most part, they're just going to simply just retreat back to a more defensive position, regroup, and then get ready to fight a pitched battle, because they obviously have the... I say they have the advantage right now. Isengard and Dunland actually have way more men, over 1,000 more men right now. And that's basically just coming from Isengard. Wow, that's brutal. I was not expecting that after that initial assault. And these guys are on full-on retreat right now. I guess just falling back, looking to build up with a few more cavalry charges coming in. Some Darmroth cavalry moving in, just hitting these archers. So I wonder what the protocol is in this battle. Who's going to attack? I guess Isengard have to try and just fight their way through. But I'm curious to see, yeah, who takes the initiative now? Because technically, Darmroth are the attackers, but Isengard are trying to march through here. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how this battle does develop now that the attackers are basically retreating back to the river, looking to, I guess, make their stand, which is probably pretty beneficial for Isengard, because now they can clear up what remains over here, use their cavalry to harass this retreat, and then they can just move up to these woodland areas, There's a lot of forest here, which they can probably, take control of and defend. I'm interested to see if they're going to try and cross the river and create a choke point on this island, or if they're going to just engage them here. It definitely will be interesting to see what they do. Let's see the last little vanguard right here. Keeping the enemy bay, keeping this cavalry tied down. But ultimately are going to, pay with it with their lives. You have some farmermen with falxes here as well. Trying their best, but yeah, here we go. Some Isengard scouts coming into their rear. Pinning them down. And I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to pull out that cavalry. Got some more pikemen moving up as well. So yeah, they are going to retreat. Are they going to retreat all the way across and defend this crossing now? We'll have to see how that happens. But what we'll do is we'll skip ahead, guys. Actually, there's still a little bit more of an engagement. We'll watch the end of this battle up here. And then we'll skip ahead and let everyone, maneuver into positions. And then we'll bring it back to you when, I guess, Isengard try and cross the river. Which is going to be a brutal affair, trust me. Because there's going to be so many missiles. It's a pretty impressive unit as well to leave behind. But the Isengard forces are going to take them out. And now they'll be able to fully reform. So is there any units from Dunland left remaining? There's a handful. They have a couple units here. But that's literally it. This is the remnants of them. And that's literally a unit of archers. Okay, well, let's jump ahead. And if anything happens, like any good cavalry charges, I'll bring it to you. But for the most part, I'm assuming we'll see the battle as they try and cross the river. As they've managed to repel the ambush. And I guess now the crossing is going to happen. And, I mean, they are stronger. So, yeah, I guess you can see that from the beginning of the battle. That Isengard and Dunland probably had a little bit more money as well. Because they managed to bring almost 3,000 more men to bear. So, definitely a strong force indeed. Okay, so it seems like Dalmarov are going to try and make their best stands right here on the island, and the forces of evil are not going to let them form up effectively. They're going to chase them. The last remaining units from Dunland are going to charge in to make their stand, and Isengard are going to be supporting them. We've got a nice little spear wall here in the river, as you can see stuff being splashed away as bodies fall to this swampy area. But I guess this was their best bet, falling back to their position, using that archer fire. Wow, it's such a nice archer fire. Everything should be trained on these missiles. Because the thing is, they have to obviously bring up their soldiers to get in range of Dalmarov's missiles. So right now, they're just sitting ducks, basically. It probably would have been a good idea to maybe set up some missiles along this route, or wait until your infantry had broken through. Because right now, yeah, you can see them realizing they made a big mistake and pulling back as the infantry push up. Yeah, it might have been a good idea to maybe just, wait a little bit longer until the infantry had, broken through a little bit so that they could bring up their archers more effectively. Because right now you've got artillery flying in, looking to kill as many archers as possible. Lots of arrow fire. Because they kind of do have the numbers to waste, right, in this battle. They have a 1,000-man advantage or Uruk advantage. So, they can kind of, use their man advantage, throw forward some of their crappy units to absorb the ammunition, and then as the ammunition starts to, run low, then charge forward and break the position. It also seems like they didn't manage to get this catapult piece back as well, which was probably due to the fact that the forces of evil didn't give them time. They just pursued them as best as they could, which is obviously always a good idea. Let's see, like, these archers set up on this hill. Oh, such a good position. Such a good position right now. With the artillery coming in as well. Oh my god, my mouse is being a little bit weird, but don't worry, we'll just zoom out again. That's such a good, formation right there. There are some archers set up as well, so we do have like 2 units of archers, which again I think is a good idea. You don't want to commit all your missiles down here because they'll just get, hammered by all the missiles. But if you can get kind of just these archers to waste ammunition, that's kind of really what they're looking for in this battle. But you've got lots of arrow fire coming in. And they still have so many men left in reserve as well, so I think it is very much a matter of time. I mean, honestly, they could just break through, like they could just bulk up and pull through, but the ranks are very, very thin right now. So it would be pretty simple just to like charge and just spearhead your way through this formation. And you could probably break through it before Dalmarov commit more infantry, even though they are kind of, I guess, seeing that their lines are thin and bringing up an entire another unit of infantry, of dismounted Swan Knights, which will be able to stem any bleeding. These guys are super high quality. And they're going to be pushing forward to look to, get stuck in themselves. Again, this line is starting to thin out, but so is the Isengard army. I mean, Isengard are just realizing they don't want to commit everything here and biding their time. How's the ammunition looking? Because that's a big thing. Yeah, the ammunition. So all these archers are holding fire. There's only a handful of units which are still shooting. This unit has run out, though. So they are starting to dwindle when it comes to missiles. You can see a couple more archer units moving up. They're probably going to have to commit some heavier infantry in a second. Because right now, the heavy fighting in the swamp is mainly going to consist of like elite Dalmarov infantry and basically just scout Isengard Uruks, which are not meant for like, heavy armored forces. So because of that, I imagine we'll be seeing maybe more of the mid-tier Uruks thrown in next. Because, a sword unit might break soon and there's just a bit more infantry. I mean, again, it wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe retreat back. This is honestly what I would probably do in this situation. I think it's a pretty good strategy. Because the Dalmarov archers are so far back, what I would probably do is I'd pull back my entire forces and just hammer this with crossbows. Because the thing is, the crossbows could probably shoot this unit from like all the way back here, probably from here. And the thing is, they can't get hit by enemy missiles because the enemy missiles are all the way back and not in range. So it's kind of like a game of chicken. Because right now, these archers can shoot this infantry, but it's kind of the same on the other side. Like, none of the missiles can hit each other, but they can both hit infantry. So maybe what I would be doing is I'd just be hammering away at the infantry, because eventually Darmroth are going to run out. Like, if we take a look at their men, they have, what, 3 units, 4, 5 units of infantry plus what's here. That's really not a lot. So, yeah, I would maybe just fall back and just hammer this area with missiles, because with the amount of archers on both sides, they would break that very quickly. Like, these crossbows would kill them extremely quickly. So I think it'd be a great idea. And I don't think they can shoot because there's just friendly units in the way. But if they could, it would be brutal. Because right now, I mean, they're killing the artillery, which is a good idea. Trying to burn these pieces, even though it's only got like 1 shot left. But still, it's good to take out. That 1 shot can still kill, like 100 guys. So yeah, I think that'd be a pretty good strategy. But also just brute forcing it is also good when you've got the balance of power in your favor like this. The balance of power bar has been cut down though by about 300 men. So the forces of good are doing everything in their power to keep this battle still, still in the possibility, the realm of winning. And then obviously, if we take a look at what they have in reserve, so they have these, 2 units of pretty, medium tier, I'd say upper medium tier infantry. You got your pikemen as well, your stormers. So these pikes probably aren't going to get committed towards the end of the battle. You have your berserkers. Oh wow, the white hand guardians. These guys look sick. So this is like an armored berserker unit. That is awesome. These guys must absolutely just demolish whatever they come up against white hand stormers. So they've definitely got a lot of high quality infantry, and then plus all of these missiles as well. Oh, and perfect. These crossbows are actually shooting into the side, which is extremely important. Because as I said, just like hitting these guys and bringing down their infantry, the quickest way to do that is just with crossbows. And you can see the crossbows are finding their mark on the flank and bringing this unit of Talon Knights down bit by bit. I mean, that rock is providing a lot of cover, but a lot of arrows are coming in and, whittling down the numbers. So just imagine that, but, from the front, they would be able to quite quickly take them out. Or in looks like we actually have a couple units of berserkers in this clump of infantry. I saw one at least. Can't seem to pick out any more, so maybe very little bit further back. There's one right there. So there are a few berserkers in this line as well. The Talon Knights are falling back now, realizing that they're getting hammered by crossbows. And that's what I'm saying, that that's the power, because what could have happened as well is if they would have shot the front, then this unit, the infantry could have fallen back, and then they try to swarm across. I think it's a good strategy, but obviously they're going to break through nonetheless, doing what they're doing. This is basically can just be run through. I'm sure we're going to see it any second now. These guys just pull through because there's not a line here anymore. It's just a handful of guys. So that's a perfect time to try and break through. The rest of the morale is dropping as well. If these guys break as well, that's a large portion of infantry just straight up gone from the battlefield. More infantry are being brought up. Are these kind of more of a... Yeah, these are the shipmen. So these guys also have some javelins as well, which is really effective. So they'll be able to, pick away a decent amount of the enemy in the water. I also assume a lot of the arrow fire will be coming in on these guys. But they're coming to plug this gap, which is obviously very sensitive, because it's literally through. So throw a javelin first, boys. A harpoon volley. There you go. Coming in, using up the rest of our ammunition. And then probably a charge will soon follow in. Or not. Are they forming a shield wall? I think they're forming... Oh, they're forming an attacking wedge. There we go. And then they're going to go in to plug this gap. The attacking wedge, I think, gives some pretty good bonuses to them. I'm not sure if we can see them. Is it going to let me? Flying wedge. Gives charge bonus, melee attack, and charge speed as well. So it just allows them to do a lot more damage on the impact. Oh, and a big rout. If anyone had a war cry or some fire arrows right now, that'd be huge. You could probably break the entire Isengard force as they try and cross this river. Oh, and some archers are now looking to kill these crossbows, which is a good plan. Yeah, so this is pretty, dangerous for both sides. Isengard could lose all their momentum and allow Damroth to reinforce this bridge. Or Damroth could be completely broken, and you know, if Isengard's quick, they can move through him. I think honestly that's what they should do. They should just try and drag these infantrymen through this position. Because they've basically broken through and they're just allowing these shipmen to quickly capitalize and get stuck back in. I mean, as soon as these guys do break, it's going to be over. But Isengard are really stringing out their infantry here. They're trying to make sure they use them as effectively as physically possible. You know, they're just like tiring, pushing Damroth to their limits, and then they're going to come in, I think, for the killing blow with the rest of their elite infantry. Which is definitely a pretty good strategy to do, right? If the scout Uruks can just keep the enemy at bay and keep pushing them, then it's a good idea to do that. Archer volley just decimating the Urukai scout archer unit. But here they go, charging in, getting their hands bloodied. But yeah, as you can see, now it's the center that's looking pretty dangerous. But if the center can be plugged, that's fine. But yeah, I think the plan for Isengard is just to tie them up as much as possible, do as much damage with these weaker units. Oh, but now the fire arrows are coming in, and you can see the devastation. Could we see a chain rout going on right now? We definitely could. And now the more elite Isengard infantry are having to be committed now. More heavily armored warriors going to be able to cut through these shipmen a lot quicker than scouts and wear them down. Because again, number-wise, it's not looking too good. I mean, it's definitely been reduced down to a 600-man advantage. But the thing is, a large portion of the Isengard forces, I mean, of the Dharma forces are archers, you know. So once they do break through this area, which they need to just try and make a beachhead, try and breach through the center or something, like take this unit and just drag it through this really thin line. You know, because more infantry are being brought up and they're getting pinned down here, and eventually it's just going to, you know, allow these archers to do work. Because I imagine they've already got an insane amount of kills: 180, 186, 200, 118. Yeah, all of these guys, a lot of kills. So I think just, you know, charging through instead of waiting for a breach. And oh my god, yeah, look how good the Isengard infantry are doing against these shipmen with the support of the crossbows coming in. Okay, this is going to be very dangerous. Even though advanced power is kind of shifted back to the center. Okay, they have to push, make a beachhead right here. If they can just run through. Oh, come on, keep on going. The artillery going to come in for one more shot. Ooh, pretty good hits. That was probably its last shot, and I think it definitely got a direct hit. Yeah, it was. Man, just drag your infantry through before the gap gets plugged. Oh, that's unfortunate. They didn't quite get the chance to do that because the gap's going to be plugged right now. The pikemen are being advanced up, but they've been, you know, the entire focal point of the archers. That's kind of what the archers were saving all their shots for, and now they're basically run out. I mean, also now wouldn't be a bad idea to bring up the last amount of your crossbows, which is exactly what they're doing. Bring up these crossbows to then come up, because there's hardly anything to shoot them now, and start, you know, hitting these back lines and stuff. That's a real shame, though, that they couldn't pull through on this line. But again, I imagine these Durawino protectors, you know, they've already lost a decent portion of their army, so, or of their unit. And I mean, how many infantry units do they have left? What, their general? Yeah, both the generals, and that's literally about it, and this. So very soon, it's just going to be like out of ammunition. I know, yeah, and this unit up on the hill. But very soon, they're just not going to have any men to send whatsoever. The archers are coming forward a little bit, and Isengard still have a decent reserve that they can throw forward. And I want to see what these White Hand Guardians can do. Obviously, they're being held back because they're a general unit, but they look awesome. You can even see their medicine pouch as well. Right there, that looks good. Oh, we can see a big break right there. The Spitter unit finally going. But wow, so these guys, because they've sustained casualties against, I guess, the protectors who racking up the kills. 107 kills already. We're getting some archers being committed, some out of ammunition archers to act as just more of a weight to push them back. There you go. Look at that. Oh no, they're just pulling back, letting the archers move forward. So this is the definition of slow and steady right now. They know they have the advantage. They don't want to risk this battle by doing anything crazy that would just end the battle right away. So they're looking just to slowly grind them down. Because, I mean, it makes sense. they have the ammunition to do so. And now there's only a handful of infantry left. This is like their last non-general unit being committed now. And now even archers are having to be thrown in. And as we saw earlier, they still have 2 full units of crossbows, which can come in, towards the end of the battle, sit here and just shoot. And they only have a handful of like 4 units of half ammunition archers. The battle is definitely coming to a close now. Only 7.5 minutes left. But I mean, honestly, I could see both sides winning this. I could definitely see both sides, coming very close. Because it's not like Darmroth don't have the men, and they've got the choke point as well. We saw how close these guys were to breaking. I mean, they already are, right? They're shaking. A fresh unit of Uruk scouts going into another weaker unit. And this ammunition is still holding, they've still got arrows left. So they can cause, if they can cause this to rout, I could definitely see them winning. Or the White Hand Stormers are moving forward. That looks so cool. Obviously, no ammunition is going to get focused on these guys. And also, I don't know if you have noticed, but look at the shields as well. There's spikes on the hand, so they can actually push it into someone and try and, just hit them away. Maybe spike into your opponent. Obviously, that's not a mechanic in the game, but spike into your opponent's shield maybe and rip it away. Kind of a nice small addition to the shield. It looks cool. But yeah, now the big boys are being thrown forward to make a breach. So yeah, as we saw, the line is thinning, and this unit... Wow, this unit... No, it's not that. Okay, for a second I thought the Talon Knights were the ones which were shaking, but no, it's the shipmen, which have kind of broken through the formation. Pullo back in formation. I'm sure they're screaming. But yeah, they're going down. They're kind of outclassed. They're outclassing... They're being outclassed by the Uruk Infantry. And the Uruk Infantry are being outclassed by the Talon Knights. Kind of a vicious circle. And there you go. They're breaking through some more axemen. Oh, this could be a big breach. Because you've got some the crossbowmen are still just trying to snipe away here. They're also absorbing a decent amount of ammunition as well. Yeah, look at them. They're just trying to get the odd shot off here. They're also trying to kill these archers. They're just kind of trying to shoot anything they can see, I guess. That looks so cool. Look at them advance with the testudo. That looks awesome. I'm a big fan of that. With the pikes. Oh, so this is the strategy, right? Is to put the pikes inside this formation so the archers won't be killing them, and then just push forward with the pikes. Not a bad strategy, because obviously the last amount of ammunition is going to be wasted on these pikes. And that's what the testudos are basically here to try and prevent as best as they can as they push forward. And now just try and use weight of numbers. They only have, 4 units of infantry back here if you kind of add all these smaller ones together. So this is going to be their final push. And I mean, it would be a good idea to bring up these crossbows now as well and truly make it, because these archers are out of ammunition now. They've got 4 more volleys in total each. And that's it. They do indeed, but the pikes are here now, and that's going to be big. Having the extra pikemen up here with the support of this testudo from the sappers. I think that's going to be enough to finally break the formation, because as soon as as soon as the archers have to get thrown into melee, it's kind of over. The last couple of infantries as well, units are being committed. Also, I don't think the players have utilised it, but I believe there's another crossing right here as well. I believe if it's a crossing right here, they're going to commit some cavalry round or something. At least I believe there's a crossing somewhere down here. From my memory, there is. There's a crossing somewhere down here. Maybe it's here? I can't see, but I know for a fact there is. I think it's here and here. So they could have come over there. So there's 2 crossings on this map, but I guess maybe the players didn't quite know. Oh, there you go. They've completely broken through. And now that's going to allow Isengard just to charge and, I guess, open themselves up to be flanked a little bit. But now they can use their numbers. Because Domroth, the unit that doesn't really have the numbers. So now they can just come charging through. Oh, and you can see the crossbows are finally being utilised as effectively as they want to. From across the river, this entire unit of 160 Uruks can now open up on these poor shipmen who just don't stand a chance, with more and more infantry just flying through this. Obviously, we're going to try and use these javelins as best as they can, but now it's just all forces forward. The war machine of evil is now pushing. Now, obviously, opening up your position like this is going to leave you very vulnerable. They can kill the pikes, obviously, and that's what these javelins and archers are all focusing down, hitting away the clump, but I think the clump will win the day. This death ball of Isengard infantry, they can obviously utilize this for crossbows, just demolishing them. They can obviously, if they break through this flank, and I think we're going to see a mass rout any second now, as more pikemen get brought up to the fight, and heavy fighting continues. Yes, archers are used to plug the gap, and yeah, they're immediately just pulling through here now. Obviously going to leave themselves a bit vulnerable, but again, anything that stands here is just going to get smashed by crossbow fire. Even got some crossbows over here as well helping out. Yeah, I mean, at this point, anything the crossbows can shoot at is good, because even if they're shooting at like these archers back here, there's still less men to then charge in. They have managed to get a pretty nice kind of surround though, but they're against heavier infantry, so I don't think it's going to be too successful. But some men are starting to break. I mean, maybe they're going to clutch it. Like, they've got a lot of good infantry here. The battle only goes on for another minute and a half. So I don't know. I mean, I could see either side winning this, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of elite infantry. All the generals are still alive for the forces of good. And then the forces of evil, I could see quite easy mass routing, like losing a general and then just being taken out. Because look at that right flank. That right flank is going. I think Dornroth might actually clutch this one. The balance of power is getting a lot more even now. Because whether or not their infantry can hold and the crossbows can do the damage, I mean, there's no more archer fire. I honestly don't know who's going to win this battle. It's going to come down to a mass rout by the looks of it. The last couple volleys, I think they want to try and break this unit on the right-hand side and then kind of wrap around. I think Isengard are going to lose. I think they're going to lose to a mass rout. I think everything's going to go. If they can come in the side here and break this, that's just going to be so huge. Maybe a volley of fire arrows as well. Oh my god, they're actually going to do it. Some more javelins coming in. Hopefully that wasn't a decent of a battle and it's not just going to end randomly. I'm assuming, you know, we're going to get a big rout. There's only 15 seconds left in this battle. What's going to happen? The crossbows are focusing this. Wait, how is the battle ending like this?
The whole unit has been destroyed.
They routed? Yeah, it was a draw at the end of the day. Oh, I guess a battle timer must have come in on at the end. They must have been playing with a battle timer by mistake. Wow, so I guess the ambush was successful. Because these guys started to retreat, so I guess they admitted that they defeated. They failed in their objective to win in because they were the attackers. And the battle did end in a draw, but I guess it was a moral victory for Isengard, which is cool. Definitely a pretty awesome battle for sure. So if we take a look at the kills, see if who racked up the most. God, I feel so sorry for General because he got hammered at the beginning of the battle. But his cavalry getting over 400 kills, which is always good. Deadman as well with his Berserkers 470. Over on Dorwinino, change the pronunciation every time and get it wrong every time. Got some archers doing some good damage. Yeah, really good damage, and my cavalry doing pretty decent. And then finally over on Dor Amroth, you can see their infantry and their rangers, almost 400 kills on these bad boys. For Heaven Guard with almost 400 as well. So if you enjoyed this battle, be sure to drop a like and a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.